Hi, and welcome back to Yoga with Tim. Today we're going to do a level 2-3 power yoga class. Let's begin with a little seated meditation. So sit up straight and tall, adjust the flesh of your buttocks so that your sit bones are aiming straight down, and sit up tall over your sit bones. Close your eyes and take your focus inward. Feel your breath from inside. So as you draw your breath in through your nose, feel it move down through your central channel towards the base of your pelvis. Feel the spine elongate, the chest and the shoulders open. And as you exhale, let go of any tension that you don't need to hold through your eyes, your jaw, your tongue, your shoulders. One more deep breath like that, slow and steady. And let it out. Then open your eyes, bring your knuckles to your temples, and as you exhale, draw your elbows in, let your upper back spread. As you inhale, open up your chest. Feel the backs of the shoulders engage, your back muscles turn on, and the heart open. Exhale, draw in. Inhale, open up. Exhale, draw in. Inhale, open up. Then bring your hands down to your side. And as you sit down through your left hip, take your left arm up, crawl your right hand over to the right, and stretch through your left side ribs. Turn your chest up towards the ceiling and feel how the stretch moves more across the front of the side ribs. Then angle your chest down towards the floor and feel the stretch across the back sides of the ribs. Come back to center, change sides. Take your right arm up, sit down through your right hip, and then start to crawl your fingers over to the side. Angle your chest up, feel the stretch up the front of the armpit. Angle your chest towards the ground. Feel the back of the shoulder, armpit, side ribs, all the way down through your waist. Back to center, come back up. Then come onto your hands and your knees. Place your hands right underneath your shoulders. And as you curl your toes under, keeping the spine, let's actually go through cat-cow one time. As you inhale, come into extension, tip the sit bones up, wheel your heart forward. As you exhale, tuck your buttocks under and round through your spine. One more, inhale into extension. And exhale into flexion. Then come into neutral, and just a couple of inches below your navel, keeping your lower back long, I want you now to seal that into the front of the spine, in between your navel and your tail. Then holding that long, lift your knees up just an inch. Now take your right hand to handprint forward, and then your left foot. Left hand handprint in front of your right, right foot, right hand. And let's take it back a step. Just kind of like you're crawling, but try to hold that area in your below your navel in. Crawl forward again. Crawl back again. Then, keeping the navel in, the collarbones broad, as you push down into your hands, start to lift your hips straight up towards the ceiling. Slowly lower your knees down. And stretch your hips back towards your heels. Keep your spine long, your heart reaching forward. Come back up. Hands and handprint forward. Lift your hips straight up. Inner arms tall, collarbones broad. Spread your shoulder blades, the lower blades on the back as you reach into your hands. Now draw your thighs straight back. Keep the inner arms lifted up by the biceps, up by the socket, so that you're not just sinking into your shoulders. Walk your feet forward to the front. Put a little bend in your knees as you let your head drop. Then take your feet outer hips distance apart. Now pretend like you had your feet on a towel and you're trying to push out so that your inner arches wake up, but still keep your big toe mound grounded. Now with the feet angled outward a little, pushing out into the imaginary towel, start to lower your buttocks towards the ground, still pushing out. Don't let the ankles and the knees cave in. And then lift from your navel, raise your arms up. And slowly lower back, but keep pushing out like you're pushing that towel out. Reach up. And so starting to warm up our hips and our shoulders. We'll just go up and down 6 more times. Keep your spine tall, like someone's pulling the crown of your head up as you go to sit down. All the vertebrae in the spine have equal space as you're lowering as best you can. And make sure that you don't let the ankles and knees cave in. The big toe mound, center heels stay grounded, but you still have that pressed out feeling. Then stand tall with your arms up, wiggle the feet in so they're hip socket distance apart, and balance yourself tall up over your ankles. Fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale your hands up your shins, flat back. Step into plank pose. Find your mountain pose line in your plank. Engage and raise your right leg up an inch. Change, raise the left leg up an inch. Set that foot down, lower down onto your belly. Inhale into low cobra, point back through your toes. Grow your pelvic roots, your pubic bone and your tailbone towards your ankles. As you lift up from your navel, reach your heart. And feel that same area just in between the navel and the pubic bone seal up into the front of the spine as you reach your heart. Then engage your glutes and your legs and raise your right leg up just an inch. Firm the buttock down, reach your heart. Change your legs, lift the left leg up. Set that foot down, lower your heart down, press up into plank pose. Stretch back into downward dog. Walk your feet forward. Inhale into a flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, Samasthiti. Inhale your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Step back into plank. Knees down, lower slowly into chaturanga position. Pause, engage your glutes in your core. Lift back up. Lower slowly. Pause. Lift back up. Lower down onto your belly. Stretch your arms forward. Turn your thumbs up as you reach through your toes. Engage your glutes. Inner groins and inner thighs release up. Then slide your elbows back into cactus position. And lift your hands an inch up off the mat. Seal from below the navel. Then see if you can lift your hands up higher, feeling the back of the armpit and shoulder engage. Then stretch both arms straight back behind you. And as you firm your buttocks out of your lower back, lift both legs an inch. Groins up. Engage the hamstrings and the glutes. Reach your heart. Lower your heart down. Press up into plank pose. Stretch into down dog. Take a deep breath in through your nose and let it out. Walk your feet forward to the front. Inhale into a flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, Samasthiti. Inhale your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Step back into plank pose. Legs strong, heart open, lower slowly. Lift back up. Lie down onto your belly. Inhale into cobra. Exhale, downward dog. Look in between your hands. Step or float all the way up to the front. Inhale into a flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Sit your hips back like you're sitting into a chair. Scoop your navel up, raise your arms. Stand, Samasthiti. Inhale into chair pose. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Step into plank. Now hold your long line in your plank, bring your right knee up to your armpit, and then round, pull up. Inhale, reach into three-legged dog. Exhale, knee to chest. Step your foot up by your thumb. Drop your back knee down. Buttock flush down as you scoop up from below your navel, raise your arms up, inhale. Exhale into cactus arms. Inhale to reach back up. Bring your hands down. Now press down through that right heel. Keep your right sit bone on a track with your right heel as you curl your back toes and lift your back knee up. Now when you go to float your arms back, your leg's gonna wanna cave in, but I want you to keep that pushing out through the towel feeling, engaging your outer hips, scoop your navel, and stretch your arms back behind you. Did it work? Did it keep your ankle from sinking in? Then set your left hand down and twist. Take your right arm up. Bring your hand down. Step back into plank pose. Bring your left knee up to your left armpit. Pull up, lift. Inhale, three-legged dog, reach back. Don't let your ribs or your middle sink. Exhale the knee to the chest, pull up. Step your foot up by your thumb. Lower your back knee down. Inhale, come up, reach down through your right shin as you lift up through the front of the pelvis. And into cactus. Inhale your arms back up. Bring your hands down. Left sit bone on a track as you curl your back toes under, lift up. Press out through the feet, engage the outer hips. Scoop your navel up to your heart and float your arms back. Set your right hand down and twist. But don't just fall into it. Press through your feet, send energy up your spine, and reach through your pelvis out of your low back. Bring your hand back down, step into plank pose. Take an optional vinyasa, chaturanga up dog, and then stretch back into downward facing dog. Look in between your hands, step or float all the way up to the front. Inhale into a flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale into chair pose. Bend your knees, sit back, raise your arms. Stand, Samasthiti. Inhale into chair. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Step into plank. Changing sides, bring the left knee up to the left armpit. Inhale, reach back, three-legged dog. Exhale, knee to chest. Step your foot up. Ground the heel, sit bone tracking. Wake up your legs. Now lift your belly and come right up into Crescent Lunge. And you'll feel that the tendency, the more you stretch this back leg, is to sink the energy in the lumbar Instead, grow the hips out of lower back and lift up through your side ribs up out of your lumbar, and then see if you can lunge deeper without borrowing from your low back. Bring your hands down, step into plank. Bring your right knee to your right armpit, pull up. Inhale, reach back, three-legged dog. Exhale the knee to your chest. Step your foot up by your thumb. Reach right down through the center heel, press out through the feet without the knee caving in, lift up and come up. Grow your pelvis out of your lower back, lift up through your side ribs. Bring your hands down, step back into plank. Take an optional vinyasa or stretch right back into down dog. Take a deep breath in here and let it out. Look in between your hands. Step, walk, or float all the way up. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Sit back into chair pose. Lift your navel, stretch your arms. Come up to stand mountain. Inhale into chair. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Step back and lower, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Step your right foot up by your right thumb. Warrior one, reach down through your feet, lift up from the middle. Open up to your side for warrior two. Same thing with that right sit bone. Instead of it swinging out behind you, put it on a track with your right heel. Grow a root from your back hip down through your back heel and grow your trunk, your spine up tall like you're being lifted up through your crown. Even if you have to come out of the pose a little bit, I'd rather see that than a sinky back leg. Then tip from your pelvis out over your thigh. Bring forearm to thigh or hand on the outside of the foot on your block. Lift from your navel, come back into warrior two, but don't let this right thigh lift at all. Feel the burn. And then put your right hand down onto the inside of your right foot, block or floor, your call. Take your left hand behind your back, roll your shoulder open, stay in that right leg, try not to straighten it. Keep growing down through your right heel, right sit bone still on a track, stretch your back leg, grow your spine through the line of your back ankle. Breathe through your nose. Oh, jeez. Then keeping your hand behind your back, and your lower back long, this space right here, really focus on it. Sealing the navel, start to straighten your right leg. But the straighter your leg goes, the more it pulls your spine to hunch it over. So reach in opposition through your chest. Pull your chest up and away from your hips. Then take your top arm up. Bring your hand down, both hands down onto the mat. Sorry, bear. Spin your back heel up and bend your right knee. Try not to disturb your sleeping dog. As you push down into your left inner hand, lift up on the front of your left shoulder and take your right arm up. Tendency, the more that you twist, is to round over. Instead, reach to your crown straight out towards the wall in front of you, and then roll onto the outside edges of your feet. Hold there, or watch out for your paws, bear. Step your right leg back, or you could even take your right big toe up with your right hand like so. Still got it. Release that and stretch back into downward facing dog. Hardly. Step your left foot for warrior one. Inhale to come up. Open up to your side for warrior two. All right, so in your warrior, lift out of the pose just a little bit so you can track the sit bone and reach through your back leg. And then slowly start to bend your left knee deeper. Then keep that sit bone on its track, tip from your pelvis out over your thigh, forearm to thigh, and top arm over. Keep that thigh low, come back into warrior two, don't let the sit bone lift at all. And modified side angle, put your hand onto the inside of the foot. Right arm up. Then take your arm behind your back for a half bind. Don't let that sit bone come up. Now instead of just hanging in your back leg, that's half the pose. Reach through that back heel. Grow your root through your back heel. Grow your spine up through the line of your back ankle. Your arm behind the back. Let the left knee start to come right over the left ankle. Ooh. Breathe through your nose. Then start to straighten your leg, but keep your sit bone on its track with your ankle, heel, and don't let your upper back hunch over. Keep your heart lifted. Then take your arm up. Modify Trikonasana. Bring your hand down, both hands down. Spin your back heel up. Bend your knee. Plant your right hand flat. Roll from your right side lower belly up to your left shoulder and take your arm up. Then twist onto the outside edge of your feet. You can hang out here. If it's too much on your wrist or your shoulder, don't force it. Or step your leg back. Or take your big toe up. Slowly with control, come back into plank pose. And stretch back into down dog. Walk your feet forward. Inhale into a flat back. Exhale, fold. Then lower into Malasana with your heels together so that your feet have this little angle outward. And lift your heels up as you lower your buttocks onto your heels. Navel in, arms forward. Then hold there or hook your upper arms back into your shins. And with your hands down, keeping your buttocks tucked under, your shoulder blades broad on your back, lean into your hands and practice balancing. Release that. Stretch back into downward facing dog. Step your right foot for warrior one. Inhale to come up. Then bring your hands behind your back. Straighten your right leg. Step your back foot a little closer. As you inhale, roll your shoulders and your heart open. And then start to tip out halfway out over your leg. Hold here. Press down into your right heel root. Big toe, little toe mountain. Good, now feel this connection between your back leg and your spine. Bend your right knee, keeping a long line. Lean and step up. Use your hands to help to lengthen your hips out of your lower back evenly and feel that your pelvis is level to the floor, waist level to the floor. Are you sinking that right knee inward? Keep the right sit bone on a track with its heel. Then without your left foot touching the ground, come up to stand. Bring your knee up. Bend your right leg, cross your left leg up and over, and cross your left elbow under your right. Eagle pose. Then uncross your arms and your legs. Stand tall in mountain. Reach down through your left heel as you hug your right knee up towards your chest without your butt tucking. Stand tall up over your ankle. Then, keeping an upright feeling through your spine, start to twist open to your right. Like, do you remember when there used to be Albertsons? I don't know if they have an Albert. When I was a kid, there was Albertsons. And then in the deli, they would have chickens spinning on like the rotisserie on the spike, and just to torture all the vegetarians that would come in. So I want you to imagine that you are now one of those chickens on the spike. Karma for all of the meat that you've eaten in this now, being punished. And then see if you can maintain that feeling and take your left arm out too. Oh, don't lose the spike through your neck too. Then if you'd like to add on, you might be able to straighten your leg, take your big toe, but don't let your butt sink forward. Still get the chicken on the spinning spike. Turn your gaze forward. Arms up. Bring your hands to prayer. Tip back into warrior three. Step back into warrior one. Stretch your arms up. Straighten your left leg. Ground through your back heels. You bring your hands back onto your low back. Knuckles together, collarbones broad through the elbows. Then start to lean out over your leg. Even here, notice the tendency for the hips to want to get wonky. Reach your hips straight back and your heart forward. Feel where your weight is in your left foot. Then bend your left knee without your blades creeping up into your neck, keeping your hips level and your left sit bone on its track. Step up to balance. Don't let that knee cave in. Feel your strong mountain pose line from your back ankle out through your spine. So in this variation, I think I was kind of leaned out of it a little bit, not fully level to the ground like in a classic warrior three. As we're warming up, that's fine. Then without your foot touching the floor, come up to stand. Bring your knee up. Release your arms. Bend your left leg and wrap your right leg over. Cross your right arm under for eagle, or just bring your hands to prayer. Uncross your arms and your legs. Stand tall in mountain. Reach straight down to your right heel as you hug your left knee up. And then you're back in Albertsons. As you spin your navel up towards your left shoulder, start to turn open, but stay on your rotisserie as you take your left arm back. And right arm out. Maybe you could try to reach down and take the big toe without losing the rotisserie feeling. Turn your gaze forward. Reach your arms up. Bring hands to prayer and tip into warrior three. Step back into warrior one. Arms up. Bring hands to prayer. Spin your back heel up and lean out over your knee. Turn towards your right knee without your right knee caving in. Still keep that pushed out feeling. Outer hip turned on so that the knee tracks. Instead of your back leg getting lazy, keep your back leg strong. Grow your spine through the line of your back ankle. Breathe. Then put your right hand on your hip. Put your left hand a foot in front of your foot on the inside. Block or floor your call. Lean into your right leg, raise it up. Lengthen your pelvic roots out of your lower back. Scoop your belly, turn your chest. And once you're steady, take your right arm up. Is that right sit bone still on its track? Then from here, slide into twisted triangle. Glance down at first so you can make sure that your pelvis is in its line through the midline, the tailbone lengthened through the midline, the crown of the head out through the midline. Be even on your feet as you twist with your chest and your arms. Bring your hand down, step back into downward facing dog, or take a vinyasa. Step your left foot up, warrior one. Inhale your arms up. Spin your back heel up. Bring your hands to prayer. Lean out over your knee. And twist. Then put your left hand on your hip. Right hand goes a foot in front of your foot. Hold your back leg line. Your left sit bone on the track with this heel as you lean into your foot. Raise your back leg. So more important than how much you can twist is finding your mountain pose line. Push through the heel, grow out through your spine, then start to spin your belly and take your arm up. Then from here, look down, slide your leg back about 3 feet, find the midline, and turn. Bring your left hand down, step back into downward dog, or take a vinyasa. Chaturanga, up dog, down dog. Inhale into plank pose. Come into plank on your elbows. Then with your feet outer hips distance apart, spin your heels over to the left and take your right arm up. Change sides, right elbow down, left arm up. Left elbow down, hold in forearm plank, engage your core, engage your glutes and your legs, and see if you can lift your left leg 1 inch without your hips twisting. Keep the head up in the line of the spine. Change legs. Set that foot down. Lower your hips slowly to the ground and come into Sphinx pose. Oh my gosh, I thought that was never going to end. Then bring your wrists and forearms back down, lift your hips back up, and we'll prepare for Dolphin Pose with your hands pressed down. From your elbow all the way to your wrist, press down evenly, and then shoulder blades out of your ears so you're practicing good posture alignment for headstand. Lift your hips up. Those of you with the headstand practice, you'll lower the crown of the head and go up. Holding for 5 more breaths, whether you're in dolphin or in headstand. Seal the forearms, move the shoulder blades out of the neck, and grow your hips towards the ceiling. Slowly with control, lower yourself back down and take child's pose. You can look at the sweat marks and make sure it was even. My head was a little over to the... Oh no, that was from that part. Okay, it's all right. Then come into Supta Virasana or Supta Virasana preparation. So I'll show you for the less flexible of flexies. You can just walk back slightly, tip your heart up and roll your shoulders open. Or just stay right up over your hips. Or you can go all the way back down onto your elbows. But whichever one you're doing, lengthen your hips and your buttocks out of your lower back, reach down through your shins, and roll your heart open. And then upright yourself back up into Virasana. Sit up tall. Take your left hand behind your back from under and raise your right arm straight up. Then bend your right elbow and slide the hands towards each other. If you combine with your fingertips without distorting, like I can get my fingers to cross, but I feel like I'll kind of like throw everything out of whack. So I'll just grab my shirt and pull in opposite directions. Release that and change sides. Take your right hand from under, left arm up, bend your left elbow, hook your fingers, or pull on the shirt. Release that. Locust pose. Lie onto your belly. Clasp your hands behind your back. Point the elbows up towards the ceiling. Then as you engage your legs, lengthen the tail, scoop up from below the navel, lift your heart, and then raise your legs up. Lower yourself down. Then if possible, bend your knees and reach back down and catch a hold of your feet. But if it's too gnarly on your knees or your lower back, you can just repeat that last one that's called Locust. So once you hold your feet, start to roll up from the strength of your back muscles. Lower yourself back down. Inhale into upward facing dog. Exhale into down dog. Make your way to seated. Lie down onto your back. Bring your heels close to your buttock, your feet hip distance apart. With your thumbs pointing up, press into your heels and lift your hips up. Press your shoulders down. Hold here or go into Urdhva Dhanurasana, the back bend on the hands and on the feet. 5 breaths. Lower yourself back down. Press your heels down, lift back up, bridge pose. Then position your hands underneath your shoulders. Open the skin of the hands into the floor. Turn the elbows in as you plug your inner arms into the socket. Hold here, modified bridge, or lift all the way up. Lower yourself back down. Open your arms out to the side like cactus arms. And with your feet the width of the mat, just let your knees swivel over to the right. Change sides, knees to the left. Look over to the right. Come back to center. Then bring your legs into tabletop position and stretching your hips out of your lower back, start to stretch the legs straight up. If you need to keep a bend in the knees to keep the buttocks down, that's fine. Slowly lower your right leg, but keep your low abdominals in and your neck long and free. Change legs. Change legs. Keep going. Bring both legs up and lower both legs a third of the way. Another third of the way. Lower a few more inches, keeping your abs in, and back up. Lower a third of the way. Lower another third of the way. Lower a little bit further, abs in. Back up. Last one. Keep your legs firm and bring them back up. Set your feet down. Cross your right knee over your left. Shift your hips over to the right a little, and then let your knees fall over to the left. Back to center. Change the cross. Hips over to the left. Let your knees go over to the right. come back to center, and stretch your legs out, Shavasana, corpse pose. Let the muscles in the forehead relax, the skin on the forehead soften and smooth. Let your eyes relax and release back. Empty the tension in the jaw and in the tongue. Relax your shoulders, the muscles of your chest. Let your abdomen soften and your back muscles relax. Let go of the tension in your thighs, your inner upper thighs, your groins. Empty the hands and the feet. And for the next couple of minutes, just practice observing the sensation of the breath, rolling in through the nose and out through the nose. When the thoughts come in, acknowledge them without judgment and let them go. Come back to the breath. Then gently bend your knees. Roll to your right side. And press yourself up to seated. Bring your palms together. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me today. Hey, let me know how you felt about the level of the practice that we just did. Do you feel like it was too little for you, too much for you? Just to get a gauge of where you feel like these level 2, 3 practices that I put in here once in a while are going. Hey, if you're looking for more, ramp it up a little more, learn a little bit more, then I'm going to put the link to the Conscious Movement community below. I highly recommend that you check that out. I have all the level 2, 3 videos over there. That's where all those go. And that's really if you're interested in deepening, advancing your practice with me. Longer videos up to an hour, which is super important to start to make more time for your practice. Hey, hit that like button and make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. There was a Bob Dole. Do you remember Bob Dole when he would do this with his hand? I just went back, reverted to 94. Anyways, have a great day, and I'll see you next time.